we're live. So, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the L3R3 Podcast with myself, Matt Likes Games, Hard Days Mike, and normally it's me, Twan. Twan would be here, but he's not. We don't know where he is, but he's not here. So, God bless him. We wish him well. We're doing the show. We're doing the show, just me and Mike today. But we have
The Player
topics,
2
and before we get into
podcast part 2.
this is a two-player podcast Monday evening edition. But before we get into topics, let's talk about briefly or at length, doesn't really matter, what we've been playing, what's been going on. Mike, starting with you, and then I will go.
For the most part, as you know, we've been playing a ton of Destiny 2 together. Recently getting our buddy Bill into it, which has been awesome. Other than that, I've been just kind of grinding away at that, kind of doing a lot of the seasonal stuff. Like right now, I'm doing a lot of the Echoes seasonal event, which you haven't done yet because I think you're trying to beat the final shape with Ham, so you haven't actually unlocked that. I mean, technically, you actually could start it now, and honestly, it doesn't really. I think it doesn't matter if you do start it now. Personally, I've also been doing the Solstice event. That's been really fun. Outside of that, I have been playing a ton, and I mean a ton of the EDF series. I've been playing EDF 3, EDF 4, bits of EDF 5 and 6, and some of the other spin-offs. I've completely forgotten how much I adore that series. It's one of the greatest series out there, period. I love it. I even took out my Vita to play Earth Defense Force 2017. I could play it on my Series X, an objectively better experience instead of running at 15 FPS on the Vita, because you've seen how many enemies are on screen in that game. But sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. But yeah, I've been having a ton of fun revisiting that series, man. That's kind of one of those games where you can just turn your brain off and play and just have a great time no matter what. And each one, even the spin-off ones, have something unique to offer really for everyone. So honestly, it really doesn't matter where you start. I think either, EDF 3 and up, real ideally, and, just grab your gun, join the EDF, and, kick some alien ass. That's all really for me, though. I don't really know what else I've been playing. I've been actually, though, should we talk about the Doom mod support? Because I can talk about Doom a little bit.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that because that is gaming news. That's not just gaming news. That's the gaming news, in my opinion, of the week. So if anyone knows or doesn't know, I should say, during QuakeCon, it announced that they're combining both Doom 1 and 2 into a single package. Night Dive Studio did the remaster on the Hex engine, I believe it's called. And outside of that, it also announced that the mod tools for Doom Eternal are out. It's in a beta form, so it's pretty buggy at the moment, at least the user interface is. But man, when I tell you that I screamed at the top of my goddamn lungs when that shit was announced, I probably almost lost my voice. I was so happy. I was so excited. I've been waiting 3 years for this, man. So I've been playing a ton of user-made content. Maybe we'll get a little bit into that later about what that means, because not only can people just make, their own levels, it gave them the entire tool set of id. In everything. You can make custom animations, custom AI actions, anything you want. It's no longer, this very rigid tool set. You can do whatever you want now. So I'm really excited to see what the community makes. And I'm very also horrified to see what the community makes.
Oh, I'm sure nothing will be bad. Nothing will be bad.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I hope someone makes that arcade mode for you, though. I could see that happening.
That'd be cool. That'd be very cool. Because I would like that. I would definitely like that. That's the only reason I play 2016 more than Eternal is because of that.
And it makes sense though, because that when you get into that chase the high score Rush, it's addictive. It's gross. And you get upset when you make the smallest mistake and it ruins your day. And then it ruins your day. And then it fucks up everything. Oh my god.
My day, my weekend, anything, right? Honestly.
Dude, I just gotta say real quick one. I made it to number 13 globally on Nightmare for Horde mode. I remember when I was done, I felt so disgusted with myself. I'm never again. I am never doing this again. This is awful. Like I was like miserable because you have to be perfect. You know what it's like. Oh my
Hmm.
god.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I've been playing.
that's
News.
nice. That's very nice. Take a guess at what I've been playing.
Um. Oh my god, I almost abbreviated that. That would have been bad. You've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk, and I know
Sure,
you've been having a ton of fun with
sure,
that. Is what else have you been playing though? I know you've been playing a ton of Destiny. Is there something else?
sure. Yeah, there's something else. There's something
What?
else that I spent 5 hours on today.
Cyberpunk and Destiny 2. What else did you play today? I don't
So
know, man.
the original Half Life.
Really?
Yeah, I spent about because I was talking to Ham earlier, and I booted up the game and I had like 5.5 hours on it. I When I got your message for the show today, I closed it and I now have 11 hours on it.
See, are you playing Black Mesa or the original
No,
Half Life? I
Half
can't
Life.
remember.
Half Life.
How? So you're liking it? I mean, at least I imagine.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's
It's yeah. Keep going.
it's
Sorry.
different in that I don't know if it's different. It's kind of just more older game design because it is an older game. Like there's
Actually, I want to tell you real
a lot of
quick.
puzzles, not
Can I
puzzles,
tell
but
you?
like a lot of things to figure. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to say real quick though, you're not wrong outside of feeling it's a different genre because now those games are actually referred to as half likes because those games have a specific flow to them that not too many like Arcane kind of sometimes has a similar flow. I'd argue Arcane games like Prey, absolutely. I think if
Mhm.
you after playing Half Life 1 and 2, go back and play the Prey reboot, and you'll see exactly what I mean. But sorry, continue. I don't want to cut you off.
Sure. Oh well, yeah, I'll play that game anytime for anything, honestly. But yeah, I've been playing Half Life One. It's really good. I think I am. What's the last thing I played? Uh, I forget what chapter the chapter names, but I'm
Honorary.
on a chapter called like a question, something along the lines of a question of ethics or something.
Oh,
Because I played,
questionable ethics. What the fuck is it? Oh, I know what it
yes,
is.
it's something like
That
that.
one's. Oh my god, dude.
It's something like that.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
there.
so jealous.
I just like before I got off, I just like did that whole conveyor belt maze thing.
Oh my god. Yup.
Um, so yeah, playing Half Life, that's really good. Like Mike said, Cyberpunk. I've been playing a lot of that to the point where like I'm like actually trying to 100% Cyberpunk, or at least 100% everything that I can. But like that Destiny and now Half Life, and then whenever I'm done with Cyberpunk, we'll figure I'll put another game in there somewhere. But right now it's those three. Half Life's really interesting because that's the first time I played. This is the first time I've really played Half Life.
I'm
So
so jealous, Matt. You have no idea. Like I'm fucking. Can I say real quick? That was the
yeah,
first person shooter I have ever beaten. Um, that was my introduction to the genre. Um, and that game is beyond special to me. Continue though. I just wanted to say that.
oh, that's all good. Yeah, it's a really good game. It's also like even looking at it, what is it? It's been over 25 years now for that game since that game was released. I mean, playing the original Half-Life, it's kind of like you can look at it and say, "Wow, that probably looked fucking unreal when it launched." It looks really good for as old as it is. It looks
Mhm.
very good. But I've actually played a little more Half-Life 2 than I have Half-Life 1 just cuz I started Half-Life 2 on Xbox. I never finished it. But I'll get to finishing that after I beat Half-Life 1. But that's what I've been up to. So, probably I mean, how long is that game, do you think? Half-Life 1.
God, it's funny. As a kid, I could tell you that game would take years to beat, but really, it was probably like what, like 7, 8 hours, something like that. I don't know, more than that, really. But
Yeah.
um, I honestly can't. I honestly don't know. I can't remember the exact playtime count. It's been like probably 5 years since I've done a full playthrough of Half Life.
I might, yeah, I might have that done by the end of tomorrow. Maybe by the end of the night. I have no idea. We'll see how that goes. But we can actually get into some topics now because there are topics. And up,
Hell, there's a new Half Life game that's been leaked. Essentially, have you heard about that?
I heard about like rumors surrounding like a new something in the works at Valve that is Half-Life related that isn't a spin-off.
Yeah, that isn't that. Oh my god, dude, I might cry. Like, I was. How old was I when Half Life 2 Episode 2 came out? Oh my god, I don't. I can't look at Google at the moment. I must have been like
27.
13,
Oh, I was
13,
close.
14. Dude,
Yeah.
like, so much has changed. Like, not in just my life, but in gaming, like in general. If a new
Yeah.
mainline Half Life comes out, I might fucking explode. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Here's what's gonna happen, Mike. They're
No.
gonna they're no. They're gonna Valve's gonna acquire Arcane Austin, right?
Mhm.
And they're gonna make Half-Life 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's what they're gonna do. And they're gonna come out and they're gonna be DLCs. They're gonna be DLCs.
To the
And
to Destiny too.
and they're gonna be battle royales.
I'm gonna kill you.
They're gonna be battle royales.
That's awful. You should be disgusted by yourself. But dude, man, I can't believe Arcane was working on a fucking Half-Life game, dude.
Once upon a time,
Like what the
we
fuck?
almost got it. It
And
almost
once
happened.
man, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'll just get sad if I think of Half-Life. So I'll
It
cry
almost
sometime later.
happened, buddy. But speaking of things that aren't dead, like Half Life. I mean, hopefully not, but we'll see. We'll see.
Fuck you.
But speaking of things that aren't dead, Tango GameWorks uh, got saved by Crafton, which is weird as hell
Yeah.
because if anyone's unaware, Crafton is the company behind. I think they published Callisto Protocol. They're also more infamously or famously, we'll say, behind PUBG. Like they're the entire thing for PUBG. So like that's weird to see that, Hi-Fi Rush and Tango GameWorks have been acquired. Specifically Hi-Fi Rush, because that's something I didn't know. Like I didn't see it clarified whenever I originally saw this news. So they acquired Tango GameWorks and Hi-Fi Rush. Everything else Tango related, like Evil Within, Ghostwire Tokyo, that is all, as far as I'm aware, still owned by Microsoft. So Crafton really wanted Tango, and they really just wanted Hi-Fi Rush. Um, and I'm kind of a little upset Twan's not here because this is like his topic. I feel like it would be.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
This is it really is.
but
Um
but nonetheless, it's interesting to hear that it's such a random studio to have this happen, or a random publisher to have this happen with. But it is good news that Tango and all the employees, because apparently all the employees are saved as well. Like
good.
they brought all the
Good.
employees back, so they're not out of a job anymore, which is fantastic news for them. But I mean, what are your thoughts? Obviously, their plans are to take Tango and use Hi-Fi Rush as like a massive thing for the studio. Whereas Microsoft, I mean, they had it, and apparently they didn't see much potential, or at least not enough, considering the fact that if it were up to Microsoft, Tango would be dead right now.
Which is
So
fucking nuts, but
it
yeah.
is, it is. So what are your initial thoughts seeing this news about Tango being acquired by Crafton? In fact, I'm going to bring this up on the screen. So
I always wanted
people
to say
actually know
this
what
real
we're talking
quick.
about.
I kind of started thinking about it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft really wanted to reinvest both into Arcane and Tango. But once that Call of Duty deal went through, they're like, why the fuck do we even need to? We can have instant profit right now. And
Yeah,
that really, really fucking sucks. I mean, I'm not gonna other than their mismanagement all over the place, but anyways, yeah, I think this is great. This is awesome for Tango. They made one of the like greatest games of that year. I mean, was it my kind of game? Not really. I mean, but fucking, tons of great games are made that are not my kind of games.
mhm,
Um, so I'm happy to hear that they one and most importantly still have jobs. Like really, right? Like they don't have to just Microsoft can't just snap their finger and be like, yeah, this ain't really working out. And now you have no job,
yeah,
and now you have in an industry that seemingly is constantly being laid off, that everyone's job searching at the moment. Um, that's not their problem. That's not what they have to deal with. It's sad that they can't at least yet have any of their other IPs. But you know what?
yeah,
Probably it's probably for the best right now for them to focus on what they nailed. Really, um,
yeah. Because I feel like, I mean, well, you could make a very strong case for Evil Within one. I don't know so much about two, but Evil Within one was apparently very well received.
it was.
Kind of a cult hit for a lot of people. Uh, I think Hi-Fi Rush, like Evil Within, was a cult hit. Hi-Fi Rush was kind of like a viral hit where it went viral like pretty quickly and everybody was talking about it. But I don't know, like I don't think anyone really knows how well it did, but it's I'm like really happy to see, like, put it this way. I'm happy to see this happen, and I 1,000% will, whatever their next game will be. I mean, you're assuming Hi-Fi Rush 2
Yeah.
of some sort, or just a spin-off in Hi-Fi, whatever it may be. Whatever that is, I will be buying it. Especially if they're gonna stick to this whole like we're gonna make this game and it's $30. Like if the game's $30, I'll absolutely be getting it. We'll see how that works because they're under a different publisher and everything. Maybe the publisher has different plans. But whatever their next game is in the Hi-Fi Rush universe, I'll absolutely be buying it. And
I wonder if part of the deal was it has to be on Game Pass. I
that's
wonder.
an interesting thing. But here's the thing. I- Even if it's in Game Pass, this is a game I'm going to make a concerted effort to buy.
To buy. Yeah, I agree.
As much as like as much as I like this whole channel, I have a whole channel here predicated on
You don't.
Xbox and Xbox news. As much as I like Xbox,
No, you don't.
I kind of
I'm
want the
sorry.
point to be I kind of want the point to go come across of like, hey, fuck you guys for making that mistake.
Yeah.
Like I
No,
kind
they
of want
deserve
them
it.
to I kind of want them to know that you guys fucked up. Like, because I bought the first one as well. Great that I didn't buy it on Xbox. I bought it on Steam. Played it on Xbox. Bought it on Steam. But the second one, whatever it may be, I'll be buying that as soon as I possibly can. So, and I hope a lot of people do that just to kind of spite Microsoft just a little bit.
I think that's a good
Um,
idea, personally.
Yeah, but this is awesome news. We don't know yet what's going to come of it outside of something in the Hi-Fi Rush universe. Is it a sequel? I would assume so. Maybe they do a spin-off or something. There's a whole bunch of characters they introduced in the first Hi-Fi Rush where you could easily do a spin-off under one of those characters. Or you could just it could Hi-Fi Rush could be one of those games where you just every game's a new character kind of thing. Who the fuck knows? Whatever they want to do. But I'm totally excited to see whatever they are working on. But do you have first of all, before we move on, do you have anything else to say about Craft and the PUBG publisher acquiring Hi-Fi Rush?
I mean, just good for Tango. I mean, I feel like they know, Crafton's the name of them, right?
Crafton, yes.
Yeah, they know what what they bought them for. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think that Like they're not worried about them making a completely new, different type of style game. Like they know the success that type of a game, that kind of game they can make. So I just wish the best of luck to Tango. Really, I mean that's all I can really say. I mean they didn't deserve what happened to them. It's fucking Arcane, and like, dude, that's fucking still nuts to me. Like I know it makes financial sense. I get it. Like they haven't ever made like I get it. Like I get it. I'm not saying I don't. Like, but it's like just to think of this franchise or this developer that has made so many beloved games is completely gone. It sucks. So as much as I get it, I can't just sit there and pretend, oh, I don't get, I'm completely fine with it because I get it. Like that's not how the brain works. It's not how like
Yeah,
shit works. But yeah, it's honestly my take up. Best of luck to them, and that's all really at the end of the day.
nice, nice, nice. And speaking of Arcane, well, first of all, we need to get we need to get Crafton on the phone and get them to buy out Arcane as well.
Seriously.
Somebody please do that. But I brought up Arcane uh, specifically to talk about. I don't know if you saw it. In fact, I actually need to fix this in my settings really quick. But I don't know if you saw it earlier.
Uh-oh. You there? Matt?
Hello,
There you are.
can you hear me?
Now I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay,
what's
you
going
cut
on?
out. You said you all I heard, I don't know if you heard, and that was all I heard. And then you cut off.
Huh?
I don't know what the hell that was. Maybe the internet's just being fucking weird right now. Go on. Sorry about that.
All right, you can still hear me though, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. So I don't know if you heard last week, the studio Wolf Eye Studios came out to talk a little bit. They gave very few, but enough details on their next game, and this is a studio that's headed up by I don't know how I can never say this guy's name right, even though it seems easy. Rafael Colantonio, I think,
Hmm.
is his name, and he is an ex developer from Arcane, very, very, very famous for the Dishonored games. But they're working on, and this is the studio that made Weird West, so it's a bunch of ex Arcane devs
Oh,
working on
okay.
a first person immersive sim with a structure between Prey and Fallout New Vegas. It says we favor density over size. This is exciting because, I mean, I really enjoyed what I played of Weird West. It's just that whole style of like kind of a top down thing, even though I thought it was done pretty well in that game, isn't really for me. I don't play that in large spurts.
Yeah.
But a first person immersive sim is exactly, I mean, Dishonored. It looks like Perfect Dark's going to be up that alley. You look at games, even older games like Deus Ex and stuff like that, System Shock, like that kind of stuff is exciting to me.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I don't know if you saw the stuff, but I did want to bring it up just because we did mention briefly Arcane. And anybody who watches this at any point, whether you're watching it live or later, like if you're a fan of Arcane, keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on Wolf Eye Studios. In fact, I'd just recommend going over on Twitter and following them, so you're up to date on everything that's going on with that game because it sounds like it's going to be pretty damn cool. Cross between Fallout, New Vegas, and Prey. So that sounds promising. We will see, however, what happens with that. Also, I don't even think we talked about this in party chats. Did you see? In fact, I'll bring that up on YouTube. Did you see the announcement, or not the announcement, but the gameplay reveal for Splitgate 2?
Dude, I actually haven't watched it yet.
Okay, okay. So I'm gonna bring this up here. Let me see.
I'm definitely
Perfect.
not running a strike right now. I'm definitely not.
Well, that's
Definitely
fine.
not running.
I'm just gonna talk about it anyway.
No, because I because
Uh,
I saw like wait a bit. How this? I haven't watched a full playthrough, but I've looked at their Twitter and I saw like snippets of gameplay. I haven't watched a full reveal though, if that makes sense.
yeah, it's only like a 4 minute video, but it's
Oh,
like I know for me, I was a little worried that it was a hero shooter, even though they came out and clarified it's not. But then they also said there's factions or whatever, and I was like, I don't know if I love the sound of that, but I'll tell you, the gameplay and the way they explain factions and everything. I mean, each faction has their own ability and whatnot. You have like factions that are more dedicated to like healing versus like factions that are just dedicated to getting kills. And then there's ones for defense and everything. And the way they explained it, granted, I mean, it's their job to explain it very well and make it sound nice. Well, they did that because it sounds very nice. And the game looks like I'm just a much prettier Splitgate. In fact,
That's
I'll
good.
tell you this. It reminds me, and this isn't a bad thing because as much as I don't love the game I'm about to say, I thought the multiplayer was pretty damn good. This reminds me of Halo 5's multiplayer, just with
Interesting.
factions. Like the mobility's there. Like there's sliding, there's crouch sliding, there's like people jumping. This guy's going nuts, cracked out of his mind, jumping all over the place. It looks interesting, and I'm really interested to see when this comes out. I'm assuming there will be a beta for it at some point, hopefully this year, because I would love that. But honestly, it made me want to boot up the old Splitgate. I don't even know if people are still playing that, but I thought about it. I thought about downloading that and playing it for a little bit. We'll see what happens. But I wanted to bring those two things up because they did happen, and they're not exactly news topics, but it's just stuff I found interesting throughout the last week. But the next big news topic, should we talk about? Actually, you know what? You're playing, but you're playing Bungie. You're playing Destiny right now. We'll talk
Yeah.
about Bungie for a little bit
Bungie,
because
remove attrition orbs from the perk rotation. It fucking
don't do that.
stinks.
Don't
What?
do that. Don't do
No,
that.
it's bad.
But
Sorry, go
don't
on.
do that. Bungie says it remains committed to Destiny after layoffs. We'll reveal plans for multi-year journeys soon. So this kind of is part of a whole thing where people at Destiny spoke, and then you also had the CEO of PlayStation speak on the whole Bungie mess at the moment.
Mhm.
But the takeaway here from that headline is that Destiny is not going anywhere. It might change a little bit. It might change, a little bit more. Like who knows? But it's not going anywhere. Destiny isn't a dead thing, which is, the way it's was sounding. I don't know, 2 weeks ago, sounded like
Yeah.
Destiny might have been dead.
Yeah, dude, like 2 weeks
uh,
ago. And like, once again, we have to see how everything goes, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. I know everyone, don't ever want to have any type of hope. And I understand, I get it. But it's like, but literally, though, 2 weeks ago, and that's not even people dooming. Like 2 weeks ago, it sounded like this shit was fucking toast. Like,
yeah, it did.
Destiny was done. Like it was done. And you know what? But now, there was one developer too on Twitter. I can't remember his name, and I feel bad, but he's a very highly followed Bungie employee. He's like, please, like, I know things don't look great right now, and we have a lot to prove to you, but please just trust us. Like, we know what we're doing. Like, I promise you. And it's like, when you do see that, it does kind of, I don't want to say alleviate anxiety, but it's kind of, I don't know. It kind of just makes you feel a little bit better about the situation when they're more confident, when they have some confidence in what they're doing.
Yeah,
But yeah,
let them cook. Huh.
I
I
fucking
just Whenever I think of that, I just think of, well, what was that one dev for Naughty Dog?
oh
Whenever
yeah,
there was the
loser.
rumors about Last of Us factions being in a bad state, and he's
Oh,
like, "Let us cook."
oh, by the way, apparently Bungie's like rolling. Apparently heads are rolling at fucking PlayStation for canceling that so late in the development. That's something else we can bring up later.
That's
That's
pretty
apparently
good. Oh, fuck it, let's bring it up now. Honestly,
I mean,
I'm
I
happy about that.
well, once again, as I have no idea who the source was from, it was like in a few different like I once again I only use social media to the point where I like rapid scroll. I hardly look into things anymore. It's not worth it. Being on that website makes me depressed. But I was seeing things, an article once again. I can't remember what gaming forum it was. It could have been fucking the worst thing ever for all I know. But I wouldn't be surprised though if you know what I mean, like because like
Yeah,
PlayStation, like dude, the Last of Us factions out of every goddamn game PlayStation should have been putting money into for their live service game, Last of Us factions should have been the game. And I know everyone's like, oh well, Bungie didn't want. I'm Bungie, yeah. Naughty Dog didn't want to work on it forever. I'm like, listen, yeah, they don't have to though.
you
There's like a
hand it off to
million
another
different
studio. Yeah,
yeah, there's a million different ways this could have went down, but it didn't. And now we're getting what? We're getting fucking what? Marathon. We're getting the fuck's that other one? We're getting what's called a Callisto, Conquered. We got all these other games that haven't been announced yet. However, the
Conquer D.
one game that could be like launched next to a very successful TV series and a beloved IP is just canceled. Like it's such fucking bad optics that
Don't
like are blind to like what's in front of them. It drives me nuts.
don't worry, Mike, because this time next year we'll be talking about a very successful TV series for Concord.
Yeah, oh my god.
So don't even worry about that.
Managed by and directed by Randy Pitchford.
It's gonna be it'll be directed by the same person who did the Borderlands movie that just came out.
Um, oh my
Was
god.
that Randy Pitchford? Randy Pitchford didn't have anything to do with that,
He
did he?
didn't. He apparently he had. I don't know what the hell he really, but he was really emotionally invested into that movie, like scary. So, but anyways,
That's really unfortunate for him because from what I hear, that movie stinks.
it's really
So,
bad fun.
sounds like it's not a good time. I was talking to Ham about it, and he was actually like upset. He
Yep.
was like upset that Kevin Hart was in it, and I gotta be honest, I get that.
Yeah,
And
seriously.
I'll tell you this just a quick like this has nothing to do with
Like
gaming, but when I see Kevin Hart's in a movie, I just don't. I just don't. I just
that's
don't
fucking
care.
funny.
And
I
it's
love
not even
that.
particularly because of Kevin Hart. It's just because of the kind of person that casts Kevin Hart as a hero in a movie. It's just,
Oh
what are you
yeah.
doing? What are you doing? He's like 5'1". This guy's not a badass. What are you doing? But that's neither here nor there. Um, but back to Bungie.
Bungie, I'd rather, yeah.
Yes. Uh, so I actually did. I managed. I don't know if it probably looks terrible. In fact, let me check on my end. It looks fine, I guess. I brought up some gameplay from like a stream that I did last week of Destiny 2. But while we talk about this. But good news and everything that Destiny's not dead. The CEO of PlayStation spoke out about it. He also spoke a little bit about Marathon. I loved everything the CEO said, except for what was the wording he used? Like,
Uh,
we gotta expand on Destiny and Marathon or I can't remember
no,
what
he
he said.
said something like we need to focus on like something like good business measures, so we're making them work like like something like exclusively on Destiny and Marathon. And it's unfortunate I
Yes.
heard the word Marathon, but at the same
Yeah.
time though, I think the reason they're only focused on Marathon because that game is like they put so much time and effort into that game now, like that it's kind of insane, right? Like it's
Yeah.
dude, and we're gonna talk about that too in a minute.
Well, let's get into that because I know you did say there was some news about Marathon that I wasn't up to date with, honestly, from this past week.
Yeah, well, I was just seeing that Jason Schreier was saying that, like, internally speaking, no one at Bungie, at least, not the crazy higher ups. And this once again, this isn't even um, like oh, breaking news. Like anyone that's been like in that kind of circle for a while knows this. No one's looking forward to that game coming out. And from my understanding and from what I've read, everything about that game is looking awful and apparently has a ton of more work to do and it's not even going to meet its new extended deadline it was already given. And that's kind of the reason why PlayStation's like, fine, I guess you can see this through. And what's so funny is that PlayStation like probably realizes this, right? They know they're like, yeah, this game's done. Like there's no future in this. But once again, when you dump this much money into a project and once again, Bungie CEOs or whatever are promising them, hey, look, I know that Last of Us game we told you that sucked isn't really good. You know what I'm talking, which is hysterical in my opinion. Because they got that input from them. it's not going to make you money. Don't worry, we got something great. And now they're like, well, we need you to get that out because now we fucking essentially just, axed off like a complete, a source of income
Yeah.
after 4 years of game development. Um, God, it's insane. But yeah, from what we're hearing and what Jason has reported on and others, that game's a mess. Like it's a mess. No one is looking for a third person extraction shooter of a retro FPS franchise. Nobody's
Is it a
looking for an
third person extraction shooter?
yes, it's third person extraction shooter.
It's not even first person.
The only time it goes into first person is when you aim down the sights, and that's just it.
Dude, this game sucks.
Dude,
I don't
that, you
want.
know what's funny? One of my buddies made a great point. The only reason it's probably in third person is so that they can get people to buy skins more efficiently.
Yeah.
And I thought of that, and I wanted to fucking puke. Like,
He's
I'm
probably
telling you,
right.
no,
Yeah.
he's like, dude, he's like I think he's objectively right, to be honest with you. Like, because like, man, I've been saying this for months now. The only reason Bungie CEOs are so obsessed with this game is they think they're gonna strike some type of like oil that like strike whatever with like how other battle royale games have been in the past where they can just kind of sit on it. Oh, this game is just people are gonna play it endlessly anyways because of the thrill of playing against people. You know what I'm saying? That kind of whole thing, and they can just kind of ride that high. But dude, I don't think they realize that whole market one struggles a lot of the time. Epic has to constantly reinvent Fortnite. Epic
Yep.
has gone on record saying like Fortnite alone isn't that profitable or isn't profitable.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know, man. Like, and that worries me because how much money has been put into this fucking game, and now is something bad gonna happen? And Bungie's just they're just honestly. I bet what would happen is PlayStation's like, no, you guys are the Destiny studio now. Like, that's just kind of like what you guys are. And honestly, good. like good. Um,
Mm.
because I don't know what the fuck is going on over there, but it isn't good.
I feel like as much as they've put into Marathon, seemingly from all reports, which seems to be a lot, I I feel like it must not be like they must be so gung ho about that game because, or at least the upper management at Bungie must be so gung ho about that game because it probably didn't, as much as they put into it, it probably didn't cost as much as it does to keep up, like keep Bungie, not
Destiny.
Bungie, Destiny, like going the way that it has been the past since its inception, honestly.
Yeah.
Um, so like I think they're just looking for literally anything, like any spark of hope that has any redeeming quality whatsoever, so that they can find a way to not have to dump endless amounts of money into Destiny, which
You
is
know what's
something
fucking
like
funny? Sorry, go
what's
on.
that?
Keep going. No, I'm gonna let you finish. I need to let you finish because
No, I was gonna say, which is something that I don't think Marathon's the answer to that.
no, it
I don't
isn't.
think I just don't think it is. I think if anything's the answer to that, it would be something a smaller spinoff in the Destiny universe, or something like because it would have the name attached to it. Like as much as like Marathon is a cool thing from the '90s, but most people don't know that.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't like the name Marathon doesn't mean really anything to most people, especially the people they're going to market this to, which is like teenagers and college students and stuff like that. No, like they don't know what the
yeah.
fuck that is. So, but they know what Destiny is. So I don't know why you wouldn't just be doing something in the Destiny universe, a
And
spin-off
that's
of
what
some sort.
pisses me off is that like it's because of like the current model of Destiny isn't profitable enough. So I'm like, why not give your guys a chance to actually make something in the Destiny universe, for Destiny 2, or maybe hell, even rename Destiny 2 to something else entirely. Like I could see that happening. Um, and just allow them to do something a little different or make a different type of expansion, or it's weird. Like, I feel like they just wanted an out, which it just isn't the answer. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like when you're just like, we just need a new product to push and push and push. I'm like, why not just keep adding to Destiny 2, a game that is very popular? And what is it, like, averages like, is what it was, like 50,000, 60,000 players a day usually? Like, and I'm like, this, you're telling me you can't find a way to make it more approachable in the new players? You're telling me you can't help the developers find a way to get the old content back in the game, or find a way to streamline making, like, expansions or this or that? You're telling me there's absolutely no way? No, it's just you don't want to. You think all of a
Yeah.
sudden they think they're going to be the next Epic, and it's just fucking, so Pete or whatever the hell his name is can go buy a new car. Like,
Oh yeah.
it it just really stinks, and it's so absolutely tone deaf that it's just, I'll be bummed if, the fact that expansions might, because we haven't been confirmed fucking anything yet. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really
Mhm.
know. Yes, once again, on bite size, I get it, but once again, we haven't been confirmed anything. Like, I will be bummed that traditional um expansions will go away. However, like, we also don't know how they're really going to handle the new stuff. It might be more exciting to me at the thought of, having highly replayable things with trinkle, like, dripped in story or yada yada. Like, who the fuck knows? Like, but that's the thing where it's like they just didn't want Bungie to do that. It's actually like they wanted Destiny to be over, and that's just fucking insane to me for how popular the game is. Like, it's like
It is.
you have your franchise that's your moneymaker, or that can be a moneymaker. Yeah, it might need to be readjusted, but you have it. You have it in your fucking hands. Let them do it. But they don't want them to. Like, like
You gotta make
it's
marathon.
it's so fucking weird, man.
It
Like,
is.
I can't get in their head. I just can't.
Oh, I don't think there's any point even trying. Like, I just think that the management there is what it is at this point. It sucks. I think everyone knows it sucks. And at this point, all we can really do is I want to say hope that Marathon fails, because I think in an ideal world, Marathon comes out and it's great and people love it and it's exciting and fresh and offers something interesting that maybe we haven't seen before. I think that would be the coolest thing that could happen. But in a world where Marathon is sounds like it's likely to fail, hopefully it does. Hopefully it fails. If it's going to fail, hopefully it fails not hard enough that it's a devastating fucking blow to Bungie, but hard enough to fucking shake up the management a little bit and be like, okay, maybe, maybe all of our fans were right. Maybe all of our fans and all of our employees were right. Maybe that wasn't the thing to do. But we'll see. I'm happy to hear that Destiny will not be abandoned, which is the thing I think everyone was most worried about a couple weeks ago. But moving on to the next topic, which is the fact that this one's hilarious. The fact that Xbox isn't allowed to market Game Pass for Call of Duty, or Game Pass Day One for Call of Duty, which is hilarious because I'll tell you what, I would have never known about that had this not been like a rumor or anything that's been going around. I know it came out on Iron Lord's podcast. I think it was Paris Lily and Lord Cognito who were talking about, like, they heard behind the scenes, like off the record kind of thing, that they're not supposed to be marketing uh Game Pass Day One for Call of Duty, which is hilarious considering they had a showcase. They had a showcase, and I was like plastered all over the showcase. But you really haven't seen much of it since, honestly.
Yeah.
So There
I think
definitely seems to be some credence to that.
that's what I'm wondering by advertise. Do they mean like they can't just go on TV and be like play it day one on Xbox Game Pass? Like, is that what they mean? But like, if they have like a like a showcase or a tweet. I mean, obviously they have to be able to showcase in some way. They literally own it, like,
Yeah,
and it's their IP now, which is insane. But that's what I don't know. Like, is there some credences? Maybe, like. I wouldn't really be surprised. And I mean, if PlayStation didn't want the deal where, it launches on PlayStation Plus day one, and instead they just didn't want to advertise for Game Pass, which is also fucking insane, then, you know, then so be it. Like, I guess that's just how it's going to be. Um,
that's so hilarious because that's something I forget about. There was a deal, or well, I don't know if it ever got anywhere, but Microsoft did suggest, hey, we'll put it in Game Pass, but we'll also put it in your service as well.
mhm.
And apparently they just said no to that. They just said no thanks to that. They
I,
just said
I,
no thanks.
which is nuts, but it's like, I genuinely wonder, is it like do they crunch the numbers and they would just make more about people buying the game and like 70% of
Oh
the
yeah.
profit going to Xbox? Like, I think that like they ran the numbers, and yeah, but still though, it's really nuts just to think about almost as a consumer. Like, once again, maybe one's more in the know would be a little bit more understanding, right? Like, I mean, I understand why they'd say no, but as somebody, you know what I mean? If you hear that, like, you could have been playing, the new COD for like $15 a month or whatever with PlayStation Premium services. You're like, what the fuck? And they said no. You know what I mean? Like, now I got to go out and pay
Yeah.
$70 for this. Um,
Yeah.
so it's kind of one of those things where they're probably like, yeah, we'll just take like the 25, $30 we get from, Joe Schmo that when he buys Call of Duty, and they're happy with that. But it's kind of nuts to think about that they did just say no. And, it is what it is. But God, it's fucking nuts. Do
It
you think there's some
is.
credence to this? Like, what do you think? Like, how are you feeling about this?
It seems like there's something to it because, like I said, we saw it at the showcase, and they were very loud about it at the showcase that it's in Game Pass day one. They said it. Couldn't even tell you how many times they said it throughout. I mean, they said it at the top of the show. I know. I'm pretty sure they said it somewhere in the middle of the main show, and then they also said it like at the beginning of the Call of Duty segment. There was like a screen for it, and then there was also a screen for it at the end of that segment. So it's like, I mean, they said it enough at that show, but
Yeah,
outside of the show, they,
it's
I
been
guess I
crickets,
see it on
really.
Twitter every now and then, but like, I certainly haven't seen, and like, I haven't seen an advertisement for it, like just searching the web. I haven't seen an advertisement for it, which is weird because that's something I would, if I could, I would definitely want to advertise that.
Yeah,
So like I kind of do think there might be some credence to that. Um it, it also like raises questions about like what exactly happened with the deal with PlayStation, because before this deal went through, like this time last year, leading up to the deal going through, like I don't know if I can say everybody, but I was certainly under the impression that we wouldn't see
wasn't
Call of
happening.
Duty we wouldn't see
Oh,
Call of
sorry.
Duty and Game Pass, at least like the new Call of Duty and Game Pass, for a couple years. Because like the
Hmm.
whole thing was PlayStation had marketing rights with Call of Duty until like 2025 or something. So everybody, myself included, just kind of assumed like, oh, well, even if the deal goes through, you know, we'll get a bunch of Activision games, but it's like Call of Duty's still not going to be in Game Pass for a couple years. And then it goes through, and then like one of the first things they say is like Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will absolutely be in Game Pass day one. It's like, well, then what the fuck did you what happened to the deal with PlayStation? Did you buy
Yep.
it out? Did you buy it out, or did you like restructure? Did you work another deal with them or something?
That
Like,
is true because you're right. Like it's completely like even outside the whole Game Pass thing, like it is being advertised on Xbox.
yeah,
Like you're completely right. What the fuck? I didn't
like,
even think of that.
and that's the thing where it's like, I'm wondering if there's something in a new deal that's like, hey, feel free to advertise that on your platform, but you're not going to use that to get new customers.
Yeah.
You're not going to use that to get new customers. And I'm wondering, because like I'm genuinely curious what it would take for Sony, because we know how like Microsoft can be a little petty sometimes too, but like especially during this generation, I feel like Sony's, especially during the whole FTC and CMA thing, Sony's gotten very petty with Microsoft. And it just I'm shocked that Sony would even allow, like, even like renegotiate a contract if that's what they did for this to even happen in the first place. So I'm just curious as to what it would have taken for them to say, you know what, you can put it in Game Pass, go ahead, kind of thing. Like
Yeah, like that's
I don't know. I don't know what could have happened behind the scenes, and I don't know if we'll ever know. But I think this is one of those things that this is one of the stipulations was like, yeah, put it in Game Pass, but like you're not going to be running ads for that everywhere.
and that's crazy. Is that like something they can really I guess so. I mean, if that's the reality we're in. I guess they can. And
Well,
that's fucking nuts.
I
Right?
would
But once
say,
again, we don't know.
I would say if Microsoft wants to be the good guy, that's something PlayStation can do. Because I feel like at the end of the day, I think we talked. I mean, well, not on the show, obviously, but I think a lot of people talked about it. Like even with the Bethesda stuff, like whenever like, oh, Deathloop is coming out on PlayStation first, are they going to buy out the contract so that that doesn't happen or whatever? It's like I feel like in that case, Deathloop on PlayStation first, like the people who really want to play it will buy it on PlayStation, but most people will wait. They're fine waiting. Versus like this, it's just I don't know. Like I don't think Microsoft wanting to be the good guy, especially look like the good guy to the regulators, would go to Sony and say, "Hey, we're going to buy out that contract."
Yeah. I
I just I think they went to Sony and said, "Hey, we want the game in Game Pass. We know you have a contract with them. Let's get ourselves and Activision together to work out some sort of deal that we can both be reasonably happy with." And I think this is probably the thing they came up with.
yeah.
Uh,
I think because at the end of the day, it's like even though I think about it a lot, they really probably should have gotten Deathloop on Xbox way sooner. Like
they
I think
should
that
have
because
like
wasn't that the year like Xbox had absolutely nothing?
well 20 what was Deathloop 20. I can't remember. Deathloop was 2021, I think. And then it came to Xbox 2022 because 2021 was actually a solid year
Oh, okay.
for
I honestly
Xbox.
can't remember.
2022 was the year that really stunk.
Dude,
And that's the
2020 year was so bad. It
like
was so bad.
they didn't have anything. And 2022 was the year that like Deathloop was probably, and listen, I love Deathloop, but it's a year late, so it's not like it's a brand new release to me.
Yep.
But like Deathloop was probably the second biggest thing they
Yeah.
they they had that year. And the first biggest thing was Pentiment, and the only reason it was bigger than Deathloop, and no disrespect to Obsidian, I'm sure it's a great game for what it is, but it's not my kind of game. And I don't think it's most people's kind of game, but like the only reason that was bigger or bigger news is because it was a brand new thing.
Yeah.
Versus Deathloop was like we're getting it a year later. But like 2022 was a fucking historically bad year. Like not even just for Xbox, like as a brand, but like if any publisher had that year, that would be like the worst year of that publisher's life.
Yeah.
So it was a historically bad year. So yeah, that was because 2021 was actually pretty good. It had like Psychonauts and Forza Horizon, and then they ended
Yeah.
with Halo Infinite, which at the time when Halo Infinite came out, everybody was loving it. It wasn't until a couple months later when everybody was like, okay, well,
What's
all right,
next?
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know exactly the details about what happened with this contract, but I do think there's certainly some where there's smoke, there's fire kind of thing. I think
Yeah.
there's definitely something
Where
here
the smoke, there
about
may be
this.
fire. Be cool
Uh,
about fire safety. Okay, that's an old commercial from the 90s. You know what I'm singing? You know what I'm talking? You know what I'm singing? You know what I'm singing?
no,
It's a fucking commercial
that's
from the
great.
90s. I'm
That's
freaking
great
losing
though.
it. I'm sorry. Go
Oh,
on.
you're fine. You're fine. But that is actually the last topic of the day, I believe.
Be cool about fire safety. Exactly. No, yeah. I think that is. I mean, I'm trying to think of, is there anything else? We talked about bunch. I mean, hell, we could talk about Doom, the Dark Ages for a moment if you're interested.
Oh, I did save. I thought I saved a tweet from like Clobril who like detailed the little talking points about Doom. But yeah, let's talk about Doom the Dark Ages.
If you could find that tweet, that'd be awesome if you can.
Oh, I'm looking. I thought I sent I might have sent it to you at some point.
You actually, I think you did. You actually did. So if you look at our
Yes, it was
DMs,
from Kami. Okami
call me.
13.
I'm just kidding.
Kami, yeah.
I start foaming at the
It
mouth. All
was
right, you
from
want to read?
at Communist. Doom the Dark Ages, new details from QuakeCon. And it's like a little list of bullet points here. It says the world is much more open than previous games. There will be 3 melee weapons: the flail, which collects ammunition; the mace; and fists, which creates chains of electricity. The saw shield can be
That's
used to
insane.
traverse the map, which is pretty damn cool. I didn't even think of that. Saw shield can be thrown at enemies. Obviously, we saw that in the gameplay we saw at the Xbox's E3 or their showcase, we'll call it. Less verticality than Doom Eternal. Jumping is weightier and heavier now, comparable to power armor in Fallout 4, which is
Which
really
means it's
fucking
going to be
interesting.
heavier. Which means it's going to be heavier even than 2016. Because like
Yeah,
2016 was still vertical. It's just not as vertical. They just turned it up
like
a crazy notch in Eternal.
power armor in Fallout 4 is heavy as shit.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty damn awesome. So I'm really excited about that. The Glory Kill system has been reinvented, which
Glory Gill.
we'll
Yeah.
we'll see
Sorry.
we'll see what happens there. I'm sure they're gonna nail it though, because I have no reason to think they wouldn't. The Glory Kill system in 2016 and Eternal was fucking great. Uh, New weapons revealed: double barrel plasma. I'm pretty sure I meant to say shotgun here. Double barrel plasma
I say
shotgun.
shit gun.
No, it
Oh.
says e-hot gun.
Hot gun.
E-hot gun. Single barrel shotgun. It says you can nail enemies to the wall with a nail gun. Also, we saw that in the gameplay we saw earlier this
Oh
year. The
God.
giant mechs can be used several times throughout the campaign. The mech fights with its fists and a double cannon. Mechs can perform glory kills, which sounds fucking sick, and
Dude,
it
I
has a
can't.
specialized HUD. So
Oh.
this game, this game is gonna
Also,
fucking slap.
also to say, Mittens. First off, Mittens, you calm down. It's yelling at my cat. And two, the dragon scene and like when you fly on the dragon and when you fight in the mech, it's
Mhm.
all non-scripted. Like it's completely you control absolutely everything you are doing in that moment. Um, it is not a scripted fight. Like you are essentially playing that same game, but now you're just a very big man. You know what I mean? Essentially.
Yeah,
I saw other tweets saying the levels are much more open. Like you're fighting on a battlefield. You are fighting between the forces of good and I guess you could say heaven and hell, but it's a little bit more complex than that. But I'll just say heaven and hell. You are the deadliest weapon in the universe in this world. And Hugo Martin said that he wants the game, stand your ground. Like that's what he wants the game to be. He's like, you're not going to jump away. You're not going to quick swap. He's like, you're going to fucking stand your ground and you're going to fight your way out of this. And I also found another interview part where he's talking about like the scene like from 300 where like, that scene where they're like fighting off before like their final stand. Have you ever seen 300?
a long time ago. Yes.
You know that like final scene where he's like rushing into the enemy line and like he's like
Hmm.
ripping them apart. He's like
Yeah.
he said I want our players to feel like this. And I
Nice.
was like, dude, that's fucking awesome. Like, I want to feel like that. I want to just feel like I am the last, like, I am what's keeping like this like army back. And I think that's incredible. I'm excited as hell.
Yeah, that game is going to be phenomenal. I also listened to I haven't finished it, but I listened to a little bit of Xbox 2 from this past Friday. Um and I heard Rand and Jez both speculating. It might have just been Rand, but I think Jez kind of agreed with them that that Doom Dark Ages could probably come out early 2025. Like if
I could see that.
because they were talking about how Avowed got pushed to 2025. Not 2020. Oh my god, yeah, 2025. Jesus, what the hell's going on?
Yeah,
Okay. I honestly I thought it was 2023 for a minute. I'm not gonna lie to you. I
that's
literally did.
insane. Holy
Okay,
shit.
so so Avowed got pushed to 2025, early 2025, February 18th, I believe is the date. And they're speculating that if they're gonna do this whole, game a quarter thing, then you would figure, okay, Doom starts the year. That comes after probably Indiana Jones and then Call of Duty, obviously late this year. But then for the game in the middle or the beginning of the middle of next year, probably would be Doom the Dark Ages. And I think Rand was saying around May would make a lot of sense for that game.
Yeah, I think so.
And if that game comes out, I'll tell you what, if that game comes out, like if Avowed comes out and Avowed's as good as I think it's going to be, and I think it's going to be great because Obsidian's great at those kind of games. And if I've Doom, I don't have any questions about Doom the Dark Ages. I fucking know that's going to be great. So if that comes out within, I don't know, let's say 4 or 5 months of each other, that would be the strongest start to a year Xbox has had probably ever, honestly. Uh,
Yeah,
I mean, we'll see what happens, but I was honestly expecting, and we don't know yet, but I was honestly expecting Doom the Dark Ages to be like a late 2025 thing. So I didn't even like consider that it would be early. But my God, if it's early in the year, I'm gonna be so happy. I'm gonna be so
I
happy about that.
man, this just give it. I want it.
That game, it would be so. I know they're probably not going to do it, especially if their whole thing is, hey, we want to space games out for like our own studios and our own partners and everything. But it would be so sick if they launched Doom the Dark Ages on the 5 year anniversary of Doom Eternal. That would be so fucking sick.
It would.
Uh, but we'll see. Either way, that game looks fucking
It
awesome, and
is.
I can't wait.
My cat's going nuts. Everyone, letting you know, my cat's going fucking nuts right now. All right, that's all I wanted to
Oh,
say.
you're fine. But that's okay because we're about to end the show anyway. So you can go feed your cat.
She already is fed. She's just
Nope,
nuts.
gotta feed her
Cat's
again.
psychotic. Yeah, I know, right?
We're
She's like, yeah,
gonna
feed me again.
we're gonna get out of here, but before we do, outros. I guess. Well, Mike, you're just here. You're
I'm
just
just
here
here. I
every
don't
week.
do anything else.
You
I
can
sleep.
also
I eat. I
you
poop.
can also
That's all I
no,
really do.
I can't say that. Okay. As for myself, you can find me here obviously Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern for this show, the L3R3 podcast. Hopefully next week we have a full panel back. But as well, you can find me here on the channel Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern for the Two Player Podcast. Videos Mondays and Fridays. I'm going to get more consistent with that because I have not been consistent with that at all for the past 2 months, and that is on me. So I'm going to get more consistent with that. So look forward to that. And then also, you can find me on Twitter at MalXGames. And that's where you can find me. You can find Mike here, like he said, every week. But with that, we're going to get up out of here. Thank you all for watching. We will see you all next week.
Bye
Goodbye.
bye.